Let's get started with model checking, in which we are going to enumerate all possible models using truth tables. So model is simply an assignment true or false to every propositional symbol in the sentence or the formula. And what we need to do is to check that actually the formula or the sentence alpha is true in every model in which the knowledge base is true. So we are going to check by examining this truth table, or that we could find that alpha is actually true whenever KB is true. Let's now consider the set of rules we built in the knowledge base to represent the reduced Wampus word, in which we used a set of 7 propositional symbols B1 through B31 and wrote a set of 5 rules to represent the knowledge base. So in this case, the knowledge base could be written as actually the rule 1 and the rule 2 and the rule 5. Okay, so all these elements has actually build or make the knowledge base. All right, so we have 7 propositional symbols, and we are going to talk about the truth table on this knowledge base. So we are going to check the models or assignments of true or false for each of these propositional symbols. So in total we have 2 to 7 equal 128 possible rows. In the truth table, we are going to just focus on these 3 lines. Here in which the knowledge base is true. Why? You remember we wanted to answer the question such as, does KP entails the proposition P11? Does KB entails the proposition P22? Okay, so far these are questions and we don't know. We want to use model checking to actually check the truth value of P11 whenever KB is actually true. Alright, so KB is true in 3 out of 128 possible rows. So we are going to focus on these 3 lines. Here are 3 rows here, where we are going to check that actually whenever the knowledge base is true, we have P11 is actually false, in which case we could infer with confidence that KB entails the negation of P11. Okay, so this is not the question anymore. All right, so we know by model checking that KB entails the negation of P11. All right, so it's not the case for P22. So if you look at P22, we have P22 could be either be true or false based whenever KB is true. So we cannot really say that KB entails P22, at least at this stage in which the agent explored the bottom left corner of the environment. In a similar way, we could check whether actually P12 is true. In similar way, we could check whether actually P12 is true or P21 is true. Just like P11, we have KB entailing the negation of P12 and KB entailing the negation of P21. All right, so this model checking help us actually drive knowledge about the truthfulness or the validity of these kind of formulas and can help then the agent move in its environment. Now suppose we don't have model checking as a tool. We only can do inference using modus ponens and whatever equivalence propositional logic formulas we found earlier. So no semantics at all, just syntax. So we are going to focus on the knowledge. In this Wampus word, we have the rules R1, R2 through R5. So what you want to prove here, for example, is that let's say KB entails the proposition P1, 2, that's a question. And that's another question. Okay, so can we use inference rule on this knowledge base to actually derive information about whether this is true or false? And whether this is true or false. All right, so first observation P12 and P21 appear. In the number 2, the proposition here. So we can just focus on this one for now. This one does not have P12, P and P21. So it is unlikely that this rule would lead to inference these two elements that we are trying to prove. All right, so we are starting with the rules, rule 2. So the rule 2 say that breeze in 1-1 if and only if we have a pit in 1-2 or a pit in 2-1. So this is the first rule. This is a rule that we know is true. There is a breeze only if there is a pit in the adjacent rooms. All right, so from this one, we are going to make an inference. Usually we like to draw lines. So this is a line. And this line will be an inference. Based on the bidirectional or the if and only if. And only if splitting into two implications. So I'm going to write this as actually as B11 implies P12 or P21, and I'm going to put that in another color. And we have P12 or P21 implies B11. And I'm going to put that in, and we have P12 or P21 implies B1. It's a good habit to use parentheses. To show that we have these two elements here, proposition P and proposition Q, and want to see what we could do with the next. So let's call this the position rule R6. All right, so from R6, what we can do, so remember if we have a proposition P and proposition Q, then we could infer P, and from P and Q we can also infer Q. And the reason is that if this is true, it is guaranteed that both of them are true based on the definition of the connectivity of conjunction. All right, so we are going to focus on either of these two parts. I would rather say let's pick one of them. I would pick this one first, and I will tell you why later. So we have P12 R21. This is by the definition of the conjunction. In inference rule, if you have the conjunction, you could infer any side of the conjunction. So why I'm using this one? Because I simply see that I have B11. And I want to be able to infer through modus ponens either P12 or P21. And remember, for mod exponents, if we have P and Q implies Q, I can infer Q. But you would tell me that this is actually not, or the right side. And I would tell you that actually I don't have B11 either. I have not B11. So I am going to use a trick of contrapositive to flip this implication. And in this case, this is the contrapositive. Using the contrapositive, it's possible to write this formula as B11 implies a negation of P12 or P21. So I am trying to put this on the side, but I am taking also care of having the negation of B11 on the left hand side. We would also use actually the mod exponents if you want to keep it as, but let's do this way first. All right, so from this what I can do is I see that I have something that looks very much mod exponents. I have P, I have Q. And I also have P here. So I am going to write this rule R4. So this is rule 4. But maybe before I do that, let me try to break this down because it's the negation of the disjunction of P12 and P21. So I'm going to use De Morgan's law, in which I'm going to distribute the negation, which will give me the negation of B11 implies not P12 and implies P21. So if we check the properties, we have De Morgan's law that actually has this property of distributing the negation and changing the disjunction into a conjunction. So I start to see things coming up. I have P implies Q and I have P in R4. So I am going to write R4 here. So I am going to write R4 is what? I have the negation of B11. Okay. So check this out. We have the negation of B11. We have P implies Q, so I could use modus ponens, this rule here, to infer by modus ponens that I have the negation of P12 and the negation of P21. Alright, so from this I am getting close to showing these elements here. So from this one, this is conjunction of these two. So if this is true, again, by using the conjunction, and I mean to use the red here, conjunction, doing the inference here. So I'm going to infer that I have P12 and I can also infer that I have P21. Okay, so what I proved just now is that actually the knowledge base infer or entails the negation of P21, and it entails the negation of P21. So you could think of doing similar thing, but I would give that in another way. Right, so try to prove P22 and P12 using the third rule, R3. So here it is important to observe that I didn't use R3 at all. I ignored it altogether. I just used R2. I used R4 to prove that actually I can entail the negation of P12 and the negation of P2 without even integrating any model or building any truth table. In the previous slides, we have discussed and we have noticed that inferring is like searching. What inference to do to achieve some goal, which is to put entailments between the knowledge base and the proposition. So it is possible actually to cause the problem of inference as a search problem and use any of the algorithms we have seen in the previous sections. So the way to formalize that is to use an initial state in which we use the knowledge base. This is a set of rules R1 through R5 that I had before. The action would be all the inference rules applied to all sentences that match the top of the inference rules. So the top of the inference rules also I said called premise. So we have each interest would be a premise and conclusion. So we are going apply the set of actions would be all the inference rule that apply to all the sentences that match the premise of the inference rule. So we are going to explore the possible actions on all the inference rules. The result would be to add the sentence that's in the bottom half. So whatever conclusion you get, you are going to add that to as a result of the knowledge base. Now the goal would be a state containing the sentence we are trying to prove. So in the previous example, I wanted to find whether KB entails P12 or P22 or P12. Now there are four possibilities. Suppose we have KB, I wanted to know whether KB is P12, so I just need to focus on this one as a goal, right? Start this as the initial state and try to apply possible rules until I reach the result P12 or the negation of P12. So it's possible to just use any such problem algorithm to reach the goal of doing inference just based on the syntax and again without using any model checking.